Hello everyone, today we have 5 beginner tips for the Castles of Burgundy, and I'm joined by rank number 1 player, Pistol Star. How's it going?
Hello, everyone. Hey, Sam. I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, very well. You're number 1 by quite a long margin. I believe you have a 94% win rate, so that's very impressive. Tip number 1 is to finish small regions first. A fundamental part of Castles of Burgundy is you get rewarded for finishing regions quickly, and the easiest regions to finish quickly are the smaller ones. For example, if you finish a size 1 region in stage A, that's worth 11 points. That's roughly the same as finishing a size 4 region in stage E. Pistol Star, say we're here on board 9. How many regions are you looking to complete in stage A, then in stage B, then in stage C?
So in stage A, between 1 to 3 regions, but usually just a single yellow region. And in stage B, between 2 to 4 regions. And during stage C, we have then usually connected the whole board. So that's the natural time in which we should fill a good chunk of small regions. Between 5 to 7 regions should be completed at that time. This nearly guarantees you to have a strong lead in points.
Tip number 2 is to complete the big 3. In most games, you should be aiming to finish the mines, castles, and boats. I think it's fairly intuitive most players can see the value of mines. After all, who doesn't like free silver? Castles are similar. People see the benefit of getting a free action. What's often overlooked about these two colours is that they're in small regions. Mines are mostly in regions of 1 and 2, castles are mostly single regions depending on the board you're on. On top of this, it's very easy to get the colour bonus for each, as you only need to place 3 mines or 3 castles to get these bonus 5 points. That's in comparison to buildings, where you need to place 12 buildings to get the 5 points. We can understand why mines and castles are so valued, so why are boats equally important?
So there are a number of reasons why boats are so strong. Being the first player is important for getting these mine and castle tiles, as well as the best other tiles that appear in each new stage. You also get goods whenever you place boats, which you can sell for points and silver, which is very handy. Another big advantage is that you can see the opponent's dice rolls. You can then potentially block them from getting specific strong tiles for cheap by grabbing these tiles first. There's still more to come. Go 1 turn faster in order to finish colors just before your opponent can, which is a free 6-point swing for each contested color. On top of all of that, you can often ultimately block your opponent's big regions in the last stage of the game by taking away all the tiles they need to finish that region.
Tip number 3 is to divide the game into 5 stages and prepare for each one. When I first started playing Castles of Burgundy, I viewed the game as a continuous sequence of 50 moves, and that's really not the case. Each stage is its own minigame. The start of a stage is when the best tiles are available, so naturally we want to spend the first couple of moves grabbing them. After our hands are full is when we start to place tiles, and then towards the end we can prepare for the next stage. What do we mean by preparing for the next stage? How do we do that?
So for the most part, it means to clean our hand as cheaply as possible, placing our key tiles down and then also taking workers to have 2 workers ready once the new stage begins. On top of that, we also would love to have 2 silver ready for the next stage. In order to achieve that, we can sell goods. Our dream scenario would be to start into a new stage with an empty hand, 2 or more workers, and 2 silverlings. This way, we can in each new stage take 2 of the best tiles with our dice, as well as the best tile from the black market.
Tip number 4 is you can't complete everything. If you're playing the 2011 version of Castles of Burgundy, then it's mathematically impossible to fill your entire board. A very common mistake that I see beginners and even experienced players make is trying to do too much. What you focus on can be quite board dependent. Most of the time in a standard game, you can complete the big 3 as well as some buildings and then either animals or yellow tiles. How do you decide what you're going to complete, and when does that decision get made?
So let's use board 9 for an example. Here we see that these small yellow regions are very good. So usually this means we want to finish all yellows because we have already invested in 3 yellow tiles. So completing all 6 can make sense to get the color bonus as well. Another important factor can be what our opponent is doing. If they started investing heavily into, let's say, animals, and we are the first player, we could get some animals on our own to contest them and potentially block them from finishing their pasture. Normally I make that decision before stage C, because it's important to have a good idea early on of how your end board is going to look.
Tip number 5 is to connect your board. Some boards you'll get to start in the middle, some boards you start on the edge. Either way, it's vital to connect to as much of your board as possible. The flexibility you get from having access to more options is going to save you workers in the long run, and you become much harder to block as you can take most colours and numbers available. The game becomes so much easier when you have more options available. We've made a video covering the 10 different boards and how we like to approach them. You can check it out here. Pistol Star, do you have any bonus tips you'd like to give us?
Sure. So early on, it's usually a very good idea to get 1 or 2 economic yellow tiles. So yellow tiles with a special ability. They are usually very strong if we are able to exploit these abilities to their maximum strength. My by far favorite tile is yellow tile 13. This one boosts your Tech 2 workers action to 2 workers and a silver action. This is an extremely powerful upgrade early on, because from now on you can create silver and workers out of thin air, regardless of your dice rolls. Even your worst turns will still be strong turns by twice taking 2 workers and a silver. This effectively translates into getting 1 strong tile from the black market and 4 workers on top of that. There are other very strong economic tiles. Most of them are saving you workers in one way or another, or giving you extra silver. The earlier you get them, the more you will benefit from these special powers.
And a small bonus tip from me, taking 2 workers is not as bad of an action as most people think. If we look at Pistol Star's statistics, we can see that he takes more workers than the average player. You're not always going to roll well, and workers are essential to mitigating the dice. Quality is better than quantity in Castles of Burgundy, so if you have to spend a worker or 2 to get a better quality tile, then it's often worth it. Hopefully these tips can help. Thank you everyone for watching.
Thanks everyone for watching, and have a good day.